The world does not punish the weak because they fail, but because they look like failures. It sounds cruel, but you have seen it all your life without realizing it. In the cafe, on the street, in the meeting room, everywhere human eyes exist. A man walks in, his shirt fits, his steps are firm, his gaze unhurried. No one knows who he is or what he does, but the room changes. People pause for a heartbeat. Then, another man walks in, his shirt wrinkled, his posture slouched, his hands unsure where to go, and the atmosphere closes like a door. No one says a word, but the verdict is already given. The first man is respected, the second is dismissed. Humans believe they see essence, but in truth, they only reflect their own instincts. When we meet someone who looks weak, what we feel is not contempt, but fear. The fear that we could become them. And to silence that fear, we distance ourselves. We judge. We look down. We think we see with reason, but it is survival instinct. We reject anything that reminds us of helplessness. So the person who carries the look of lack, no matter how virtuous, intelligent, or brave inside, is buried beneath the fragile mist of prejudice that weighs like stone. A man can hold the whole world in his mind, but if he walks out looking tired, no one wants to hear him speak. Human eyes do not wait for stories to be told. We decide another's worth within the first few seconds, through their voice, shoes, posture, gaze. Everything they say or do afterward only serves to confirm that first judgment. If they look trustworthy, we believe them even when they lie. If they look poor, we doubt them even when they speak the truth. There is a silent injustice no one wants to admit. Society does not care who you are, only how you appear. It is a courtroom without a judge, where the gaze is a blade and silence is a sentence. Those who know how to appear will survive. Those who don't will disappear, not because they are guilty, but because they make others uneasy. Think back to when you passed a beggar on the street. No matter how compassionate you are, the first part of you tightens. You avoid their eyes, you walk faster, not because you hate them, but because for a brief moment, that image reminds you of what humans fear most: the loss of control, the weakness, the fall to the bottom. We fear poverty, not only because it is lack, but because it looks like failure, and we avoid failure as if it were contagious. That is why Machiavelli called image one of the cruelest laws of human nature. The world rewards those who look strong and punishes those who look weak. No proof is needed, no evidence, only one glance. And the cruel part is that judgment is almost irreversible. A person once seen as weak, even after success, still lives under the shadow of that old image. People will say, he got lucky, he changed, but deep down, they still see the same picture, like a stain that cannot be washed away. From that, everything in this society revolves around one principle: whoever controls perception, controls the world. A person who chooses the right clothes, speaks with calm tone, walks slow but steady, makes others believe in things not yet proven. That belief, though born from illusion, slowly becomes truth. People open doors for him, listen to him, give him chances, and opportunity, born from illusion, creates reality. Meanwhile, the one who looks poor, small, hesitant, even if truly capable, is shut out from the start. They never get the chance to prove themselves because no one gives them time. This world is not a fair court. It is a stage where those who know how to appear are trusted, and those who don't are cast aside. Imagine you are a businessman. Two people knock on your door at the same time, offering the same deal. One arrives in an old suit, trembling hands, waiting eyes. The other walks in, confidently, well-dressed, firm voice. Who will you choose? The answer forms before reason even joins in. That is instinct. Humans believe the image before the truth, and so image becomes truth. In the court of mankind, perception is law, and that law has no mercy. Those who look lacking are seen as worthless. Those who look abundant, even if hollow inside, are praised. The irony is that pretenders of strength are often lifted up, while the truly strong who cannot hide their struggle are pushed down. Power does not come from real strength, but from making others believe you have it. Some will object, saying, "I live honestly. I don't need to pretend." But the world does not reward honesty if it comes wrapped in poverty. You can be kind, loyal, and sincere, but if the image you send out is of a weak person, no one will listen. This world has no patience for souls that are not beautifully packaged. They do not read the content, they only look at the cover. And an ugly cover is ignored, even if it hides great wisdom inside. A person who looks poor is already condemned before they can defend themselves. The charge? Helplessness. The punishment? Being forgotten. Many talented people are buried for life simply because they never learn to walk into a room as if they belong there. Not because they lack ability, but because they do not know how to perform. Meanwhile, the shallow ones who know how to dress, how to hold their gaze, how to speak just enough, are glorified. The world is not fair, but it is consistent. It believes what the eyes can see. When people meet, their first instinct is to judge who is strong and who is weak. Like in the wild, a wolf studies the stance of its rival before attacking. A creature that bows its head and trembles, even with claws, is still prey. Humans are no different. They sense insecurity, they smell fear, they read poverty in the smallest movements. And when they sense it, they strike. Not with weapons, but with indifference, silence, exclusion. That is why the wise learn to hide. They cover their fatigue, conceal their fear, wear the calm mask, not out of arrogance, but understanding. The world does not save the weak, it only avoids them. To look strong is not deceit, it is defense. Because in the eyes of the crowd, appearance is the only language they understand. Those who know that language survive. Those who don't fade away, quietly, without a sound, like a song cut off halfway, and no one remembers they were ever here. So the question is not, are you truly strong? But how do you look when others see you? Because in this world, the one who looks poor has already lost before speaking a single word. In the morning, in a wealthy neighborhood, two men stepped into a luxury store. The first wore an old coat, wrinkled shoulders, and shoes with worn heels. He walked slowly, head slightly lowered, as if asking permission to exist in that space. The second came right after, in a fitted suit, a hint of cologne, straight gaze, and a thin smile. The door was the same. The goods were the same. Yet the world split in two at that moment. The staff bowed to the second man, greeted him, offered tea, their voices sweet as honey. As for the first man, they glanced at him, then turned away, as if his presence made the air uncomfortable. No one asked who had money and who didn't. They didn't need to know. In their eyes, the judgment had already been made before reality was allowed to speak. You have seen this scene 1,000 times without noticing. The world does not run on justice, but on instinct. In the first few seconds, the human eye decides who deserves respect and who does not. And once that gaze is set, every action that follows only strengthens the first impression. The one who looks poor, no matter how talented, must work twice as hard just to be heard. The one who looks rich, even if hollow inside, is respected even in silence. It is a harsh truth most people refuse to accept because it shatters the illusion that fairness exists. In the palace of power, this rule cuts sharper than any blade. A man who dresses below his status is seen as weak, as someone easily controlled. Allies drift away, enemies grow bold. Because the world does not see essence, it sees signals. A fine jacket, an expensive watch, a steady walk. These are not just materials, they are declarations. I am not prey. And that declaration alone makes others hesitate to attack. There is an unwritten law in this world. Whoever reveals lack signs their own sentence. In the eyes of the crowd, poverty is not just the absence of wealth. It is a scent, a signal that says danger, vulnerable, unprotected. People see it and sense a chance to step over, to dominate. Compassion may exist, but it is always weaker than the instinct to take. A merchant once said, "A man who looks poor makes me lose interest, even if he has gold in his pocket." That is not his sin, but the sin of human nature. Instinct always chooses what looks like power over what is truly right. So, the man of intellect, who cannot wrap his wisdom in presence, tone, and gaze, is like owning a diamond without a box. It will be mistaken for a pebble. In this society, illusion is currency. You may have nothing, but if you can make others believe you have everything, they will open doors, offer opportunities, and those very opportunities will become your reality. But if you truly have something, yet look as if you don't, the world will take it from you before you can hold it. Every successful person understands this, though few will admit it. Power must be performed before it can be possessed. There is an image that haunts me. A man walks down the street in a worn coat, dirty shoes, passing through a rushing crowd. People avoid him. No one meets his eyes. He is not begging, not doing anything wrong. He simply looks like someone life has abandoned, and that alone erases him from the world's vision. In a crowded city, he becomes a shadow. Meanwhile, across the street, another man, well-dressed, phone to his ear, walking briskly with purpose. The crowd parts for him. Both are human, both are walking, yet one exists and the other does not. That is the law of perception. Image is law, and law is cruel. In the court of mankind, no one defends a shabby appearance. The one who looks lacking is seen as a failure, while the one who looks full is placed above. And the most terrifying part is that even the weak believe in this law. The poor look down on those poorer than themselves, as if to avoid seeing their own reflection. From small bars to grand boardrooms, the same game repeats. One man enters awkwardly, laughs at the wrong time, speaks too fast, and kills himself with every gesture. Another walks slowly, speaks little, looks directly, voice calm, and the whole room quiets. No one knows who is smarter or wealthier, but everyone feels it. This is the one with power. Appearance, which seems like skin, turns out to be the first language humans ever believed in. Fools think sincerity is enough. But sincerity wins no attention, opens no doors, earns no respect. It only has value when wrapped in the form of strength. Without that, it is just a lonely voice in a world too impatient for naked souls. Look at the successful people you know. How many are truly smarter than you? How many simply know how to look like they are? Sometimes you do not lose because you lack ability. You lose because you appeared the wrong way. In this society, respect is not given, it is evoked. And if you do not know how to evoke it, you will be forgotten. Some mistake humility for virtue, but humility is only praised when it comes with power. A king dressed simply is seen as noble, but a poor man dressed simply is seen as ordinary. The same act, the same virtue, yet perception changes everything. Humility is not truth. It is the privilege of the strong, and because of that, truth is never fast enough to save you. The world will not wait for you to explain your worth. It is already decided before you speak. You may be wise, moral, patient, but if you look unworthy of attention, every word you say will dissolve into noise. Meanwhile, the one who knows how to appear can stay silent, and people will imagine he knows something profound. He knows nothing, but that silence, wrapped in confidence, becomes power. It sounds unfair, but it is the most enduring truth in human history. From Roman emperors to modern businessmen, all understood that image precedes reality. It decides who is heard, who is forgotten, who is honored, who is crushed, and it never changes. Because this world does not care about your soul. It only cares about what the eyes can read in the first few seconds. When you step out of your house, you carry an invisible flag. Some wave the flag of confidence, and the crowd bows. Others, out of fear, let their flag hang low, and the crowd steps over it. No one says it aloud, but everyone knows. Those who look like winners will keep moving forward. Those who look like losers will be pushed aside. And that is where every tragedy begins. Not because people lack value, but because they do not know how to make others see it. There were two men, both equally poor. One wore an old shirt, walked hurriedly, his eyes fixed on the ground. The other was no richer, yet his shirt was ironed, his shoes clean, his back straight, his steps steady. As they passed through the market, the vendors looked at the first man like a sad reminder of what failure looks like. But when they saw the second man, their expressions changed. They smiled, their guard lowered, their tone softened. He didn't have more. He simply understood one thing. The world never waits for anyone to explain. The world believes what it sees, and the first thing it sees is the only thing it believes. A man may have no money, but he can choose how he walks. He can choose how he speaks, how he stands, how he holds his gaze. In this society, that is not pretending, it is defense. Because when you have nothing to protect yourself but your appearance, that appearance becomes your last shield. People do not follow essence, they follow symbols. A clean outfit, a steady voice, a calm posture. These are the 3 lines written on the mask of those who survive. I am not easily broken. Some people understand this early, And they climb quietly, step by step. They have no money, but they dress like those who do. They have no power, but they speak as if they are used to it. And strangely, others begin to believe it too. They are respected, doors open for them, opportunities appear. Illusion, when sustained long enough, creates reality. That is not magic, it is human nature. People want to believe in what makes them feel safe. This world does not honor the truth. It honors the believable version of it. And sometimes, that version only needs to be wrapped neatly in a walk, a smile, or a steady gaze. A man may be empty, but if he makes others believe that inside him lies a great secret, the world will surround him with respect. While another man, full of wisdom but showing his fear, will be swallowed by silence. Have you ever tried changing the way you walk? Try slowing down, keeping your shoulders straight, breathing deeply, speaking less. Something so small can change the way the world treats you. The vendor will listen. The waiter will speak softer. Even those who once looked down on you will hesitate. Because to them, you have shifted from prey to mystery. And instinctively, people fear what they cannot predict. If this feels familiar, perhaps it is because you have stood in the place of someone judged only by appearance. Maybe you have felt small in a room full of confident people. Maybe you have spoken the truth, but your voice trembled, your eyes wandered, and no one listened. The world does not care whether you are right. It only cares how you look when you say it. That is why some poor people are never disrespected, while some rich ones are never admired. The difference is not in their wallets, but in something invisible, how they make others feel about them. A person who understands this never needs to show off. They only need to control the language of the body, and the body always speaks before the mouth does. Some may think this is living a lie, but you are not pretending, you are surviving. In a world where a glance can kill opportunity, preparing for that glance is self-defense. When you step into life, you are entering the battlefield of perception, and other people's eyes are the arrows. Those without armor will bleed first. Maybe you have felt angry for being misunderstood. You wanted to be seen for who you really are, not for your clothes or your voice. But the truth is, no one is patient enough to look deep. They see you the way they read a book's title. If the title draws them in, they open it. If not, they walk away, and your story remains untold. Deep down, the world runs on a simple logic. What looks strong will be believed. What looks weak will be dismissed. That is not morality. That is instinct. And if you understand that instinct, you do not need to fight it. You just need to use it. Like an actor who knows his role, you do not need to change your nature. You only need to learn how to step onto the stage. Your posture is your introduction, your gaze is your business card, and your silence is your speech. If you master these three, you will need no further proof. I know sometimes this feels exhausting. You have to hold your stance, steady your tone, keep calm, even when inside you are full of doubt. But remember, this is not deceit. It is the discipline of survival. Those who control perception can turn poverty into power and fear into presence. If you hear this and see yourself somewhere in it, in the moments you were judged, in the times you were dismissed for how you looked, then pause for a moment. Take a breath. Think about how you will appear next time. You don't need luxury or pretense. You only need to remember that in this world, the gaze is the language of power. And if you do not learn to speak it, others will speak it for you. Perhaps it is time you try something different. Walk as if you belong where you are going, even if you have never been there before. Look straight ahead as if you need to prove nothing, even when you still doubt yourself. Speak slower, speak less, and let others lean in to listen. The world does not reward the loud. It rewards the ones who make others fall silent. Try this for just one day. You will see small doors begin to open, not because you changed your worth, but because you allowed others to see it. And from that moment, you will understand a truth most people never accept. The world does not care who you are, only who you can make it believe you are. One gloomy morning, in an old stone square, a band of soldiers marched by. They were hungry, tired, their armor torn, their flags frayed. They still had strength to fight, but the enemy saw them and smiled. Before a single sword was drawn, the battle was already lost. Because on the battlefield, the one who looks weak has already been defeated by the first glance. The world runs by the same rule. Whether it is a general or a merchant, A battlefield, or a boardroom. Every battle begins with an image: shining armor, soldiers in perfect formation, drums beating in rhythm. These are not for show. They are strategy. Because before real strength can prove itself, illusion has already done its work, planting fear in the enemy's mind that they are facing something unbreakable. A man, too, must learn this for his own life. When he steps into the world, into an interview, a meeting, or a negotiation, he does not bring only his words. He brings a picture, how he looks standing there. If that picture radiates confidence, others will believe him before he speaks a word. If it shows hesitation, then no matter how logical his words are, they will still think he is wrong. No one wins with truth alone. Victory comes from how truth is presented. And to present it well, one must master the oldest art in existence, the art of appearance. Even when chaos rages inside you, do not let it show. Let the world see only your stillness, because silence looks like power, while trembling looks like weakness. The wise do not wait for power before they begin to appear powerful. They appear powerful first, and real power comes after. They understand that in the game of perception, what goes first always leads what follows. A man who knows how to play his role can turn illusion into reality, because when the world believes in an illusion, the illusion becomes truth. Just as a general paints his armor, so his soldiers believe in him. A man must learn to build a shell that earns respect, even when fear still lives inside. Look around. From businessmen to politicians to artists, everyone is performing. But that is not deceit. It is survival. They are not lying to others. They are protecting themselves from a world that only believes what it can see. Those who refuse to perform, those who choose to live authentically, in the literal sense, are sooner or later crushed by the crowd. Because on the stage of life, the audience does not want the truth. They want an image that makes them trust, that makes them follow, that makes them feel safe. Someone once said, "Fake it until you make it." But most people misunderstand that phrase. Faking it is not living a lie. It is training yourself to become the image you want the world to see. If you want respect, behave like someone worthy of respect, even before anyone knows your name. If you want to be seen as successful, walk, speak, and dress as if you already are. The world will believe it, and their belief will open the path you need. In the gatherings of power, no one truly asks, "Are you worthy?" They only ask, "Do you look worthy?" Those who arrive with confidence, steady gaze, calm voice, are welcomed. Those who fumble, who are overly humble, even if truly gifted, are quietly pushed aside. So remember, confidence is not a feeling. It is the language of power. It does not come from within, but from how you make others believe that within you stands a fortress. Even truth needs a cloak to be heard. A right idea spoken with a weak voice dies in the air. A lie spoken with a firm voice lives long like a truth. People believe the tone before the content, because tone, like posture and gaze, are moving images, signals the mind reads faster than reason ever could. Look at the leaders history reveres. They may not have been good people, but they all understood one thing. Power does not lie in truth. It lies in making others believe your truth. That is why they invested in symbols, ceremonies, lights, and the language of authority. Everything was staged, but no one cared. Because to human eyes, what is beautifully presented becomes real. You can see this in the smallest moments. A man who lowers his head, speaks with a trembling voice, clenches his fists, he makes others anxious for him. But if he stands straight, speaks evenly, looks slowly and directly, he makes others believe he knows something they don't. And just like that, the balance of power shifts. No money, no title, only control over how he appears. Some say, "I don't want to act. I want to be myself." But what is yourself? The fearful person swallowed by others' eyes, or the strong version of you that you dream of becoming? If the world is a stage, you have two choices: stand in the light or be consumed by the dark. No one gets to stand in between. Let illusion serve you instead of fighting it. Only when you master it does it stop being a curse. When you understand that appearance is a shield, you no longer fear it. You realize that a steady step is not deceit. It is a message to the world. I am not weak. And from that moment, the world begins to believe it. In every encounter, you carry more than yourself. You carry a silent message through every detail: the clothes you choose, the the tone you hold, the gaze you give. Together, they say one thing: I deserve to be heard. If you do not say it, someone else will say it for you. So, do not fear illusion. It is not a lie. It is the first language of power. And to live in this world, you have only two options: learn to speak that language, or be silenced by those who do. In life, those who know how to look strong will be heard, believed, and followed. Those who look weak, even if good and profound, will be left behind. Because the moment the eyes fall upon you, the judgment is already signed. And once signed, no words are strong enough to erase it. Once the world has seen you through the image of poverty, that stain clings to you like a shadow that cannot be washed away. You may change, rise, succeed, but the old gaze still follows. People will say you were lucky, that someone helped you, that maybe you were cunning, but they will never admit you deserved it, because in their minds, you are still the one who used to be poor. That image, once printed into memory, becomes an identity, a silent curse. And nothing is crueler than being judged not for who you are now, but for what you once were. Think of someone you once knew, someone who fell and then rose again. When they came back, dressed well, driving a good car, speaking differently, did you truly believe they had changed? Or did a part of you whisper, I remember when they had nothing? That memory is the wound that never heals. People can forgive betrayal, forget pain, but they never forget the image of weakness they once saw. It makes them feel higher, safer. So no matter how far you climb, they keep you frozen in the old frame, telling themselves they will never become you, but also that they will never fall as low as you once did. In the noisy streets, you can see this rule play out every day. The man who once failed now stands in a new suit, yet the eyes around him still scan, still doubt. His smallest mistake is magnified twice, while the real rich man's mistake is dismissed as a small accident. The reputation of poverty, once it touches your skin, is no longer about money. It becomes a scent, a memory, an ink stain that seeps deep into how others perceive you. The wise understand this, so they hide their poverty like blood. They do not complain, do not share, do not let anyone see them tremble. Because once blood spills, the wolves will smell it. In this world, weakness does not invite pity, it provokes hunger. The more you reveal your lack, the more hands will reach toward you, looking kind but hiding claws. People will pity you only as long as they feel above you, and once their pity is satisfied, they will pull back, leaving you alone in the echo of their mercy. A person can live with honesty, but cannot survive if that honesty exposes their weakness. The world does not respect the one who dares to say, I am struggling. It only respects the one who says, I'm fine, even when breaking inside. Because I'm fine is what people need to hear to keep believing in order. I'm suffering unsettles them, makes them uneasy, forces them to look at themselves. And that is what they hate most. Perhaps that is why the best survivors are those who know when to stay silent. They understand that truth is not always meant to be spoken. Some truths, once revealed, become verdicts. The weak often mistake silence for cowardice, but in truth, silence, when used right, is their final form of power. It makes the world guess, and when the world is guessing, they still have time to breathe. In boardrooms, in hallways, in bars, in candlelit dinners, this law never stops. The one who used to be poor speaks, and every word is examined. The one who looks well off says the same thing, and everyone nods. That is why those who have known poverty learn to hide it. They dress neatly even when their pockets are empty, speak calmly even when their hearts race, smile even when they worry. It is not deception, it is discipline. The only way to keep from being erased from the map of respect. Polished shoes, a steady gaze, a calm voice. These small details are invisible walls of protection. The world reads them as a code. This person has value. And value, even when only an illusion, holds real power. It makes others hesitate before they dare to look down on you. In the world of instinct, the hesitation of others is your shield. People often say, just be yourself. But that only works when your true self doesn't make others uncomfortable. If your true self is fear, confusion, or lack, then hide it. Not because you are ashamed, but because the world does not deserve to see it. They will not help you. They will only use it to feel better about themselves. The truth is, behind every confident appearance you see, There is someone hiding something. No one is perfect, but the wise know they don't have to show the world their cracks. Like a bird with wet wings that still stands tall because it knows if it bows, the others will peck. In this world, strength is not always real. Sometimes it is simply the ability to stand firm when the wind blows. There are mornings when you look in the mirror and see someone tired, worried, drained. But if you must step outside, wear calmness like a coat. No one knows what battles you are fighting, and no one needs to. The world reads only the image you send, and you must be its editor. A wrinkle in your shirt, a lowered head, a sigh, small things, but enough for others to misunderstand you. And once they do, you cannot pull them back. The one who used to be poor must stop looking poor if they want to escape poverty. Not through money, but through posture. Not through wealth, but through discipline. Because this world does not reward truth, it rewards consistency of illusion. A person may be empty inside, but if he always looks strong, the world will soon treat him as strong. And when the world treats you as powerful, you become powerful. That is the paradox of survival. Sometimes you must pretend in order to live truly. And sometimes that truth only comes after you have learned to hide yourself from the eyes that want to see you fall. So if there is one thing you must remember, never let the world see you fall. Not because you are weak, but because they will never forget it. They will keep it, repeat it, use it as your measure forever. In the game of perception, showing poverty once is losing forever the right to be seen fairly again. It is better to go hungry in silence than to eat under the gaze of pity. Because once someone pities you, they will never respect you again. And when respect is gone, all that remains is the banquet of contempt, wrapped in a smile. Not only in work or society, but even in love, even in the most intimate relationships, that same law quietly rules. The world does not love you for who you are. It loves the feeling your image creates in others. A man who walks in with confidence, speaks with a steady voice, and looks with intent, makes others believe they are safe beside him. Another man, though kind and sincere, appears uncertain and weary. He makes others feel they must carry the weight of his unease. In love, as in every other game, the feeling of safety always wins over truth. A man can be poor, can have failed, yet if he keeps his calm, if he makes others believe he will rise again, he still has magnetism. People are drawn not to money, but to symbols of strength. Strength does not need to be real, only convincingly shown. On the other hand, when a man reveals despair, fear, or a pleading look, he loses all respect and with it, love. People may pity you, but they cannot love you when they have to bend down to reach you. When a man looks weak, the world reacts like animals catching the scent of blood, not out of cruelty, but instinct. In every social ecosystem, weakness is an unspoken invitation. Take over, lead, dominate. The one who appears strong earns admiration. The one who looks weak stirs irritation. That is the brutal law of attraction. No one wants to stand next to a mirror that reflects their own fear. In relationships, the ones who suffer most are those who reveal their wounds too soon. They believe honesty will be met with understanding. But the world does not operate on understanding. It operates on emotional reflex. When you say, "I'm afraid," others do not think, "I will protect you." They think, "You're weak, and I can't rely on you." Because inside everyone is the same need to find a shoulder strong enough to lean on. And no one wants to lean on one that trembles. But the one who hides his fear, who still speaks steadily, smiles at the right time, and holds his gaze firm, makes the world believe he can handle anything. And that belief becomes truth. When others believe you are strong, they treat you as strong. They give you trust, opportunity, and sometimes even love. Power does not come from real strength, but from how you make others see it. When a man learns to hide his poverty, he not only protects himself from contempt, he makes others believe he has worth. Clean shoes, confident words, a calm posture. These are small details, but in the world of instinct, they matter more than promises. People do not analyze, they feel. And feelings, even when wrong, are stronger than truth. Watch a couple arguing. The one who remains calm always wins. The one who raises his voice, explains, pleads even if right, still loses. In that moment, victory belongs not to reason, but to whoever holds the posture of power. The one who controls emotion becomes a wall, and no one dares to strike a wall But the one who shows fear, pain, or fragility becomes an open window, and anyone can throw a stone. Some ask, must I always hide? Is it wrong to just be real? The answer is no, but choose wisely where to be real. The world is not the place to drop your armor. It is a battlefield. Save your truth for those few who deserve to see you unguarded, and they are rare. With everyone else, hold your posture. Let them see you as they need to, not as you are. When you walk into a room, you don't need to be rich, but you must make others think you lack nothing. That is not arrogance. It is ritual survival. Poverty is not only about money, it is about the visible signs of insecurity. The habit of asking permission to exist. When you walk as if you are tolerated, the world will treat you as tolerated. But when you walk as if you belong, the world will make space. Some men understood this early. They do not try to be loved. They make others believe that loving them is a privilege. And, because of that belief, they are truly loved. In love as in power, belief comes before truth. The one who appears strong, even when lonely, is respected. The one who appears weak, even when genuine, is pitied. And pity is the lowest form of love. It does not lift you up. It turns you into decoration for someone else's kindness. A pitied person will never be treated as an equal. They are helped, comforted, but never admired. They live beneath downward gazes, never eye to eye. So if you stand between truth and illusion, choose illusion at least, while you must walk among people. Illusion, when built with discipline, becomes protection. Truth, when shown too nakedly, becomes a blade. This world is not crueler than before. It is simply more honest about instinct. Humans are still a fearful species, and to survive within their fear, you must make them believe you are stronger than they are. That strength does not need to be real. It only needs to be convincing. And most of the time, convincing is enough to win. Among laughter, handshakes, and promises, remember it is all a play. Those who act well are loved and respected. Those who act poorly are left behind, no matter how sincere. So choose your role carefully. Sometimes it is not who you are that decides your fate, but who you appear to be in the eyes of the world. And so, as an ancient law that has never failed, those who know how to hide their hunger are invited to the feast. Those who let others see their hunger will forever stand outside the door, waiting for crumbs to fall from the hands of the full. Only when we are old enough to look back do we finally understand. No one ever truly sees us. They only see a version of us reflected through the light they choose to believe in. That first look, though it lasts only seconds, has the power to shape everything that follows. It can open a door or bury you forever under judgment. And once an image has taken root in someone's mind, you will spend a lifetime trying to escape it. This world does not run on fairness. It runs on perception. A man who enters a room appearing wealthy, even if empty inside, will be welcomed. Another, with fire and brilliance in his mind, but who walks in with fear in his eyes and drooping shoulders, will be forgotten before he speaks. And that kind of forgetting can be more brutal than death. Not everyone is born to perform, but anyone who wants to survive must learn to play their own role stronger, steadier, brighter, not to deceive, but to be heard. Because in a world that believes in surfaces, only those who know how to command the surface ever get to reveal what lies beneath. Truth is not something you throw out. It is something you lead others toward. Watch the people you admire. They never appear disordered. Every detail, their voice, their gestures, their gaze, has intention. They know that in every moment, the world is judging them. And when given a choice between being pitied or being feared, they choose fear. Because fear holds people longer than pity ever could. Do not think this applies only to the rich or powerful. It applies to all of us at work, in love, even in the simple act of walking among others. Each time you step outside, you enter an invisible courtroom. The eyes around you are judges, and their verdict is decided before you speak a word. One wrinkle, one lowered gaze, one rushed breath, they see, weak. And the world, by instinct, worships strength. Some people understand this law and use it to rise. They create the illusion of power long before true power arrives. They invest in appearance the way others invest in wealth. They know that sometimes a clean shirt, the right words, or silence, at the perfect moment, can change an entire life. And once the world begins to believe, illusion becomes truth. They no longer pretend to be strong, they become strong. But those who reject this law, those who insist, "I will just be myself," are often crushed by their own truth, because to the crowd, naked truth does not inspire trust, it inspires fear. People avoid those who are unguarded, because they remind us that the world is not safe. So to be loved, respected, and heard, you do not need to lie, but you must choose which part of yourself the world gets to see. Remember this. The world does not punish the poor because they lack money. It punishes them because their image makes others uneasy. Poverty is not just absence. It is the symbol of failure, and humans fear failure more than anything. Out of fear, they reject it. So, if you cannot yet be rich, at least learn to look unafraid of poverty. Calmness in the face of lack confuses the world, and in that confusion, you have a chance. A man can stand amid ashes, but if he keeps his back straight, no one dares to laugh. If he bends down to gather the broken pieces, pity will rain down like a storm, and nothing stings like that look. Better to be hated, better to be misunderstood, than to be pitied, because hatred still recognizes you as a threat. Pity only sees you as a memory of failure. Each morning when you look in the mirror, you are not just seeing your face, you are looking at the weapon you will carry into the world. Polish it, keep your gaze steady, your shoulders firm. That is not vanity. It is survival strategy. Determination in your eyes can make others hesitate, and in that hesitation, you find space to breathe, to live, to take one more step. No one needs to know you are afraid. No one needs to know you are weak. The world does not reward that honesty. It only rewards the image it can believe in. Once you understand this, you will no longer feel guilty for keeping your posture, for staying quiet, for pretending calm while standing in the storm. Because that is not deceit. It is the wisdom of survival. And one day, when you truly become strong, when you no longer need to hide, you will smile and realize that those days of acting were your training. They taught you discipline. They taught you how to breathe in the fire. And you will see that every real strength begins with one moment of pretending to be unshaken in fear. Engrave this truth not to become arrogant, but to never disappear from the world's sight. Men obey the mask, not the face. The world bows to the mask of strength, not to your real face. So if you must choose between being seen as real or being seen as worthy, choose worthy. Because only when you are seen do you still have a chance to become real. And that is the final paradox of power. To truly be yourself, you must first learn how to make others believe in your image. Thank you for staying with me until the very end of this story. If this message touched your heart, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you'll never miss the next journey we take together. Your support means the world to me.